buy and hold these 6 ETFs to retire wealthy. If you're looking to retire wealthy, you won't want to miss this. We'll discuss the top 6 ETFs you should consider and explore their potential for robust long-term performance. Learn how to build a diversified investment portfolio that mirrors specific market indices and strategies, all while breaking free from the limitations of traditional mutual funds. Join us for valuable insights on how to retire wealthy with the right ETF investments. Watch now and start your journey towards a financially secured future. Are you ready to discover a financial strategy that can set you on the path to retirement filled with beach house relaxation? If so, you're in the right place. Today's video is all about exchange-traded funds, ETFs, a powerful investment tool that could change the way you plan for your retirement. We'll reveal the top 6 ETFs that you can confidently buy and hold, potentially for the next 10 to 20 years. Imagine a diversified investment portfolio that mirrors specific market indices or strategies, providing you with the potential for robust long-term performance. What if we told you that you could easily buy and sell these ETFs on any exchange or brokerage site, breaking free from the limitations of traditional mutual funds? Stay tuned to learn more about these ETFs that could secure your financial future. If you're looking for investment flexibility and the potential for substantial returns, you won't want to miss what we have in store for you today. Number 6, Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF. The Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF, identified by the symbol SCHD, stands out as one of the top-performing dividend ETFs. It adds a good dividend option to your investment. What's interesting about this ETF is how it picks companies. It looks at things like how much money they make compared to how much debt they have, how much they spend, how much they pay in dividends, and how fast they're growing. The main goal of this ETF is to invest only in companies that have been paying dividends for at least 10 years. They want strong companies in their mix and avoid bad ones that might stop paying dividends. They like big, solid businesses, but don't include real estate investments. They also don't put too much money into one company or one type of business to keep the risk balanced. In terms of performance, right now, SCHD is trading at $72.48. So far this year, it's down by 3.24%, but over the past year, it's up by 2.48%. Over 5 years, it's made a return of 11.24%, and over the last 10 years, it's done even better. What's cool about this ETF is that it doesn't cost much to have, only 0.06% of your investment, which is like 6% of every $10,000 you put in. It also pays out a dividend, which is like getting an extra 3.58% back. You can either take that money or leave it in to grow, but remember, you might have to pay some taxes on the money you get. Number 5, Invesco S&P 500 Equal Weight ETF. The Invesco S&P 500 Equal Weight ETF, known as RSP, holds a bunch of more than 500 company stocks that try to copy the S&P 500 index. What makes this ETF different is how it splits the money equally among these companies. They do this to keep things fair and make sure no single company has too much control. They check and adjust this every 3 months. They do this equal splitting to make sure there's a lot of variety and less risk. Some other funds put most of their money in just 1 or 2 companies, like Apple, which can be risky. If something bad happens to Apple, it could hurt a lot of people's retirement savings. As for the performance, right now RSP is trading at $146.91. It's gained 7% so far this year. Over the past year, it made a bit more than 13%, and if you look back 5 years or 10 years, it's been averaging around 10% to a bit over 11%. Plus, one good thing about this fund is that it doesn't cost much to invest in it. For every $10,000 you put in, you only pay $20 in fees. When you look at what types of companies this fund invests in, it's a bit different from most other funds. The biggest part goes to industrial companies, making up more than 15%. Then right behind that is information technology, IT, which is just under 13%. This different mix of companies shows that the fund really likes to keep things varied. But hey, before we continue, we want you to know that we're always making new content, so make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. Number 4, Invesco QQQ Trust. The Invesco QQQ Trust is a fund that tries to copy how well the biggest tech and innovation companies in the NASDAQ 100 index are doing. These are mainly tech companies and they make up more than half of the fund. Some retail, trade, and healthcare companies are also part of it. If you look at the top 10 things this fund has invested in, you'll see a lot of big tech companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla, and Alphabet. Unlike the other funds we talked about earlier, this one mostly focuses on high-tech companies. Because of this, its performance can be really good sometimes, but it can also be really bad because it's so tied to technology. But when you look at how it has done over time, it's been pretty good. Now let's talk about how well it's been doing and how much it costs. Right now, you can buy it for $366.87. This year, it has made a profit of more than 37%. In 1 year, it made 25%, in 5 years, it made 16%, and in 10 years, it made 18.63%. Some people might think ETFs are too expensive, but you don't need to buy a whole share. Many brokers like Robinhood let you buy just a part of a share. So even if the ETF costs $366, you can start with as little as $20 and the percentage of profit you make will be the same whether you own a whole share or just a piece of it. As for how much it costs to own this fund, it's not too bad. You'll pay about 20 cents for every $100 you invest, which is called the expense ratio. Funds like this are good because it has done well over the years, and with how fast technology is growing, this fund will do even better in the next 10 years. Number 3, Vanguard Information Technology ETF. Now let's take a look at the Vanguard Information Technology ETF, which is represented by the symbol VGT. Its main goal is to closely follow the performance of the MSCI US Information Technology Index. It does this by holding all the stocks in the index in the same proportions, which is called a full replication approach. If there are rules to prevent it from doing this, it uses a strategy where it selects some stocks to try to be like the index. VGT mainly focuses on companies in the information technology field. These are businesses that make and sell things like computers, telecommunications equipment, and software for the internet. It's important to know that the VGT has a big presence in areas like system software and tech hardware, which is similar to the benchmark or index it's trying to match. If you look at the companies it invests in, you'll see that Apple and Microsoft are important parts of VGT's holdings. It also includes other well-known companies like Oracle, AMD, Adobe, and Salesforce. Right now, VGT is being traded at $426.24. It's been doing well this year with a gain of more than 39%. Over the last year, it has gone up by 36%, and over the last 5 years, it has grown by 20%. If you look back 10 years, it's gone up by about 21%. This ETF has a history of doing really well over the long term, plus it doesn't cost much to invest in it. Just 0.1%, which is like $10 for every $10,000 you invest. VGT is an ETF that many investors like because it doesn't require a lot of thinking, and it's pretty popular. It might even be a part of your investment already. But if you haven't considered it yet, we strongly suggest taking a closer look at this option. Number 2, Vanguard International Dividend Appreciation ETF. The next investment we're talking about is called the Vanguard International Dividend Appreciation ETF, which is known by the symbol VIGI. Its main goal is to copy what the S&P Global Dividend Growers Index does. This fund is like a backup plan for when the stock market in the United States isn't doing great. It's a way to make your investments safer. When it comes to where the money in this fund is going, about 75% of it is going to Europe and the Pacific region. The Pacific region includes countries like Japan and New Zealand. If you look at what this fund is investing in, you'll see some famous companies like Sony, Nestle, SAP, Novo Nordisk, and Novartis, along with some lesser-known ones. Now let's talk about how well this fund has been doing. Right now, it's trading at $73.85 per share. Over the past year, it went up by 11%, and in the last 5 years, it gained more than 6%. The cost to manage this fund is 0.15%, and it pays a dividend of about 2.5%. This investment isn't for those who want their money to grow super fast. It's more for people who want a safe and steady return on their investment. Plus, it gives you some extra money through dividends, which is a nice bonus. Hey there, before we reveal the top one of this list, make sure to tap that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This way you won't miss out on our newest videos. You can decide if you want notifications for just a few videos or all of them. It's your choice. And if you're using your phone, don't forget to enable notifications in your settings. Number 1, VanEck Semiconductor ETF. The last exchange-traded fund ETF we're talking about is called VanEck Semiconductor, and its symbol is SMH. This fund works like the others we've talked about, where it follows the semiconductor sector index. The idea is to copy what the index does, keeping the same mix of stocks. Now, semiconductors are like the building blocks of electronic stuff like phones and computers. Looking at the top 10 companies it invests in, this fund is a bit different. It has companies like ASML Holdings, TI, Intel, AMD, Broadcom, Nvidia, and TSMC, among others. Right now, SMH's price is $143.44, and it's done really well this year, going up by more than 46%. In the past year, it's grown by 45%, and over the last 5 and 10 years, it's done even better, with rates of 24% or more. But there's a catch. It focuses only on semiconductors, which can be risky. Also, it charges a bit more compared to other funds, 0.35% or $35 for every $10,000 you invest. Still, over the past decade, it's shown it can make money while keeping their expenses reasonable. So it's a good choice if you want to see your money grow, but you should know it's a bit more focused and has some costs. And there you have it. We've talked about the world of exchange-traded funds, ETFs, unlocking the potential for a financially secure future. From dividend-focused investments to tech-centric portfolios and international strategies, there's an ETF to match your financial goals. Which ETF from our list aligns most closely with your investment objectives and why? Is it VanEck Semiconductor ETF or Vanguard International Dividend Appreciation ETF? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. Your insights might just help fellow investors make informed decisions for their financial journeys. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video helpful and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on our latest content. And for more resources and links related to today's topics, be sure to check out the description below. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to reading your comments and engaging with you in the next video.